Welcome to the Orlando Lions Den podcast, your number one Orlando City podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the fans, by the fans. Keeping you in the know on all things Orlando City since 2018.
Hello. Another edition of Orlando Lions Den podcast, episode 18 of our regular podcast of the season. And we're back after a not so great road trip. We are back at it. 1 point and 2 matches on the road this past week. We did enjoy the second match. Probably the most fun loss I've ever been a part of. So we had a good time. And we're back. We're going to talk about the 1 point in the last 2 matches. We'll look ahead and some international duty and the LAFC match. And hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Thanks again for joining us on the Orlando Lions Den podcast tonight. Here with my boys Eddie and Alex Ryder. It was nice to see you this weekend, guys. Alex, how you made it home safely? How you doing?
I'm good. Did make it home safely. Took a detour to St. Pete on the way home, but I am back in Naples, and I guess we gotta talk about the less than great results the last week. The Chicago game feels like a million years ago, but we haven't talked about it. And yeah, like you said, it was a tough loss to New Jersey, New York, whatever you want to call them, but it was still a fun loss because we got to enjoy it with 70 plus of our closest friends.
Yeah, we had a great time. Now's a good time, I guess, to tell everybody thank you for coming out for sure. We had a fan. I think we counted the raffle tickets. We had over 120 people that just got raffle tickets. We didn't see anybody double dipping either. And I know Hourglass had a great night. They told us after the party that anytime they got to switch to plastic cups, it's a good night for them. Cappy's sold out of food in about the 75th minute, 80th minute. So I know they had a great night at him, and Cappy's did as well. So we appreciate everybody for coming out and showing up and enjoying the game with us. I wish we could have gotten at least one goal so we could have heard the roar of the Hourglass Brewing there on Curry Ford, but it just wasn't in the cards, I guess, unfortunately. But it was a great night. I had a great time. We just got to see everybody. We were all hanging out together. We did some awesome giveaways. So they wanted to do it the Hourglass said it was such a success. They were asking us to do a away match. So not something that is feasible, but we're definitely looking at maybe doing it again at least one more time this season. Eddie, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fine considering the team's form. But doing podcasts with friends like you guys, and then that turnout, man. Alex Brown, we were honestly a little worried because I was like, I'm just gonna be upfront. I was just like, is this a good business idea for them to do this? Like a little podcast, humble podcast, and is this just making sense to make all this beer? And then people just kept storming in. And I pulled into the wrong parking lot, like to the side, and I saw a few cars. I'm like, that makes sense. And and because it's hard to fathom, people kind of want to come hang out and meet you, or just hang out with not necessarily just for us, but to hang out with other supporters. And that's really the heartbeat of this club. And supporters are fantastic. We're doing awful. We tied our losses this week already this season that we had last season. And it was 120, 130 people plus. People really seem to like the beer. Thank you, Hourglass Brewing for making that. And they want us to do it every single away match, which we really can't. Just the logistics don't work. But we'll do it again, probably like a clear to beer kind of thing. But they sold a ton. People had
sold an entire keg.
Yeah, sold an entire keg plus some cases. And it was great seeing just people we know from Twitter, people from Reddit, people from Instagram, people from other podcasts, people from both supporters groups. Everyone was just there having a good time, just vibe, just there, and 1-0. And some fun moments in when Muriel we'll get into that. I don't dribble too much, and then when Kyle Smith got subbed on, those are my two favorite moments, just because how unanimous the groans were. Not that Kyle Smith did anything wrong. It's just that generally a defender is not going to help you win a match. Poor guy, not like he did anything wrong, but it was just cool to when you feel something, and other people feel the same way. We all kind of looked at each other, and it was one of my favorite nights in Orlando City history that we've had. It was phenomenal. Thank you. Honestly, it was really touching. It really meant a lot. So many people come out from far places too. People taking Ubers and taking rides and going from other places just to come see it. I hope it was worth it. Yeah, I hope it was worth it. Yeah, I hope it was worth it for you guys. I tried to say hi to everybody I could and meet some interesting people. And we got a lot of positive feedback. So even from secondhand, people were like, "Hey, my buddies was there. They had a great time." So it was spectacular, man. So it went down great, and we definitely got to do it again. But it really helped heal that wound of the how crappy we played. We'll get into that, but man, it was just friends and good vibes can really kind of distract you. Everything was good, but the performance on the pitch, so I'll leave it at that. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, I think they made 15 half kegs, and we got through almost 3 of them. So, and then they did a few cases, and like I said, Hourglass was stoked about it. And Eddie, you nailed it on the head. I mean, the day of on Saturday, in the morning, we were like, I think we set the bar. We said if we can get 30 people there, we'll be happy. That we can get at least 30 people. I know I brought
more
like
than that
10
before
people.
Kickoff, even.
Yeah, there was more than that when I showed up, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I think it really hit me when, like I was parking and there was 2 other cars parking with Orlando City gear on, and I didn't even know who the people were. I was like, this is pretty awesome. But yeah, if you wanted to try it, I'm drinking one right now. Little no mango, no party action, and
Nice.
And we had a great time. They still have they're still selling it at both locations, and like Eddie said, once we get down to the last little bit, we might plan on doing a clear the beer watch party where we empty out the last of the kegs. That's the plan.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the feedback on the beer was good. Everybody was like, "Oh, I actually really like it. It's really refreshing. It tastes good." And one person's like, "Mango's not my thing." They know who they are, but and they even tried it though, and they were like, "It's actually, it's not bad. It just they don't like fruity drinks." But they sold that many beers from our stuff, but people could drink whatever they want, so they were drinking other stuff too. So who knows how many beers we sold? But that place, I think 90% of the people there were from our event. So. I mean, it had to be a huge dub for Hourglass Brewing, and Cappy's was killing it, man. They made me a little special Cuban inspired thing and some yummy crunchy onion rings, and everyone just enjoyed everything. So it wasn't like, hey, come, drink they made a beer in our name and the beer sucks, but no, people actually enjoyed it. So. And the giveaways were great. Alex, thanks for the Wilder signed jersey. I mean, that was crazy. We walked around and gave a bunch of cards out, autographed cards and stuff like that, and tickets to matches and the raffle. I don't know. I don't know if we could duplicate all of that next time we do it, but I mean, thinking back, we it was a great event, man.
We only have so many autographed jerseys. It was such a great event, and I made a vacation out of this. Like I wasn't positive I would be able to make it up with all of the stuff I've had going on personally, but we made a trip out of it because I wanted to be there, and we went to Disney, and it was just so cool. I brought family. My wife's sisters came out, and they had a awesome time, and they're not even soccer fans.
There you go. Yeah, and this is the first time we all been together in a long time too. Since like the opener last year, I think, right, Alex?
This
Yeah.
first time all 6 of us have ever been together.
The first time all 6 of us have ever been together. The closest we've come was the Columbus match. We all got to meet up, and then before that, like you said, Eddie, the opener last year.
And my favorite was Cleon. He showed up a little bit later than I think Alex was the last one, maybe. Showed up and he's like, "They're here for our thing." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, I don't get it. I said, "You underestimate you underestimate how much people like drinking beer and watching sports. Like this is a thing. And he was like, I guess so. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, I had such a good time. Aaron had to drive me home. So I'll tell you where I was at.
So you
Yeah,
really like
it
the
was a good
beer.
time. Yeah, I was hammering the no mango, no party. So, all right, let's get into our sponsors quickly. We'll go through first. Let's talk about Leo at Epic Mortgage. The Epic Mortgage team powered by U Mortgage. Leo Gonzalez at Loans by Leo on Twitter. www.applywithleo.com. You know the spiel. Rates aren't the best right now, but Leo is the best that I know with being honest with you and telling you about those rates and about the outlook on the rates and the outlook on the housing market. He's been right ever since I've known him, even though I've been wrong. So he's a great tool to use, even if you don't go through with him. He's a good tool to have in your back pocket. Give him a call. Shoot him a text, 407-844-7696, and you can just reach out to him, let him know you heard of him from us, and you have questions about possible mortgage or refinance.
Yeah, I got a little testimonial for Leo real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Leo suggested about the rates, that they're good. You probably want to lock them in before they went up. I did that. My rate is crazy, fraction of what's available now. Then I was trying to do something else, and then he was just open. He's like, we're not really strong at that. Go through this route, which is what I'm currently doing. So he saved me a ton with the rate I locked a couple years ago, and then he's led me to a really good path, which is what I'm doing. Literally today I was doing that. So, and that was Leo's advice. So he just straight up told me, try with these people instead. It'll work out better for you. So I appreciate him for that.
Yeah. And Eddie with Compare on Insurance, our man, right here with us tonight. Also an insurance agent as his side gig, his day job. But he's the same way. I mean, he shops around multiple different insurance agencies for you. If he can't beat the price, he'll tell you straight up. And, he's going to tell you what the holes may be in your coverage. If there are any, he'll tell you, the most common things to happen and what the outlook would be for you if that does happen, whether that's with auto insurance or home insurance specifically. I know I texted him this morning about my life insurance policy. Need to change the billing on it, and he sent me a text back before 8 a.m. So Eddie's the man when it comes to all that too. Life insurance, auto insurance, home insurance. Get with Eddie. Shop it around. Insurance is a useless tool unless you need it, and Eddie's the man to make sure that you got the best price and good coverage. You're not going to be stuck with a $15,000-$20,000 hurricane deductible if you don't need it. If a hurricane does come, your deductible is the cost of your roof. That don't really do you any good. So Eddie can work out the options and tell you all the different ways that you can save or get better coverage there. We have Fubo TV. Use our QR code. It's on the screen. We posted in the Twitter link as well on the replies. If you're looking to interested in Fubo TV, looking to watch more live sports, cut the cords, get with Fubo, use our link, and we will appreciate that. Last is Field Turf USA. Our time may be coming to a close with them. We don't know, but they've been with us from the beginning, and we appreciate Field Turf USA for all they have done. And, of course, Hourglass Brewing. A hell of a turnout, a hell of a time. We thoroughly enjoyed everything, and they had proper service, amazing bartenders behind the bar. Everybody making sure everybody's having a good time, and we definitely had a good time. So thank you, Hourglass Brewing, for putting on the show, and thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate it.
Let's see that pretty can again.
Yeah, no mango, no party.
A pretty can.
Yeah, and shout out to the bartender too. They got the Chanko in Orlando City Chanko and the bartender.
Oh yeah,
themselves.
Orlando City.
Right at like the same time too. That they usually do it in the stadium. So
right,
we tried, but still nothing. But let's talk about the midweek tie. Chicago first, 1-2 Chicago. Kind of like a writer said, it feels like it was weeks ago, but. But we get the early goal, the ugly goal from Facu, and then Mike had even said it. Mike had said, hey, this feels like we're going to give up a goal when he did his halftime thoughts, and it did feel that way, and we ended up giving up a goal. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a goal back, but 1-1 in Chicago against one of the worst teams in the league, to be honest. Pedro has the howler to give up the only goal. Really just rolled right past him. Eddie gave the tweet like the old what was it? The old Bugs Bunny, like Wile
Yeah, Bugs Bunny change up. Yeah.
Yeah, the old Bugs Bunny change up. Yeah, I was laughing at that, but it was it was very underwhelming. A point on the road is usually a good thing, but not when you're playing a team like Chicago. We placed a decent lineup out there, and didn't have Duncan, but it pretty much it felt like we should have actually gotten 3 points pretty easily, in my opinion. Eddie, what were your thoughts as
Yeah,
the beers
yeah,
making me beer?
yeah. On the Chicago match, oh, man, when I was predicting, points during this busy stretch, I thought that would for sure be 3 points. Well, we ended up getting 3 points against other teams earlier in this little stretch, and then kind of just crap the bed at the end here. The Fire they're one of the few teams with less wins than us, and they had 1.84 expected goals. We had under one. It was like 0.84 or something like that. And the point is that the game kind of looked like that. Chicago was just really bad at finishing. They had great chances in the box. Yeah, we got a completely crap goal. Faku Cobra Kai the ball into the net. It was just, it's been mocked relentlessly. Said the most ugliest goal of the year, Puskas Award nomination, ironically, and it was just deflected, and he just lit it in. Like I feel like when you play FIFA, you don't know if you have the ball or not, so you're trying to slide tackle it back, but you actually score. Like you press X instead of like B. I think that's what Faku did. But I'm team all points matter, all the goals matter. So we were up, whatever, it's fine. But we were just giving up some chances. They had 18 shots to our 8, and they had some good chances. They really just couldn't finish. And for some reason, this was Jansen's first game back, but our defense just felt really stretched. They had a lot of space to attack, and if Chicago was better, had a cutting edge, they would have gotten us. And at the end, it was, I mean, that's what the XG was so high. But at the end, they ended up scoring a soft goal. Ball gets cut back to the kind of penalty-ish area, and dude hits it. Kuipers or whatever his name is, with left foot, near post, which I don't know what Pedro was doing. I think someone we met there, we knew from Twitter, Aaron, said correctly, Pedro's just not seeing it right now. He's guessing. So why would you think someone on their weak foot with the ball coming across is going, on the left, on the near post, is going to go far post with it? What are the odds they're going to connect that well to go far post that way? You got to lean towards the near post. You can't get beaten in the near post like that. And it was just like a chunky shot. And Pedro just weak hands just went under, and he just looked flat-footed. It was bad. And then from there, we just really didn't have any bite to get that final goal. And we looked poor. We looked disorganized. Maria had said it after the Crew match when they got that goal. We looked disorganized, and we something we played down to our opponent. We looked better against the Crew than the Fire, and it bit us in the butt. This is 2 points dropped. I don't care if it's on the road. It's 2 points dropped, period. We just didn't look good at all. It was a bad performance. Should there have been a penalty? Yeah, 99% of the time that's given. I was more angry at Angulo for just not being better and keeping his balance and just scoring. But did they run into him? Sure. But even with that, I don't think we deserve more than a point. So I'm not even too mad at that. If we're sitting here, this club, the expectations are so far down that we're sitting here hoping for Pro to have competency, to do things the right way, for us to need that to beat the Fire. That means we're trash. We're not playing good. We shouldn't need that to beat the Fire. And yes, it would have probably been enough, but at the same time, performance wasn't good. I talk about performances all the time, and you can't rely on Pro. You can't go to the judges when you're fighting a Mexican in Vegas or LA, or Puerto Rican in New York, in Madison Square Garden, Puerto Rican Day weekend. It's just not going to work out for you. So you got to knock them out, or you are susceptible to incompetency. So that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the penalty. Clear and obvious for me. I know, everybody, Angulo, and what he's not competent in that area, but I don't know. I screen grabbed it, and he looks like he's planting his right foot and bringing his left foot back to shoot it into an empty net to tap it in there, and the guy just barrels him over from behind, clips his leg. I know people are saying he Angulo's leg went to the dude's leg first, but that's not even an argument in my opinion. It's as clear and obvious as it can get. But you said it, I think, at halftime, Eddie. If it's a team like Chicago, we shouldn't need a penalty, to go in and be that way, and we did. But definitely a little salty for me, considering the weekend before. There's no way that Araujo penalty was anywhere near as clear and obvious as the penalty would have been against Angulo. Just my opinion. If you're calling one, you have to call the other. I mentioned on the last pod, that I think 90% of all the pro referee pool needs to be in agreement on something being a penalty, and if it's not, then realistically, then it's not clear and obvious. 90-95%. I think 90 to 95% of the pro referee pool would have called this a penalty, and we didn't even go check the monitor for it. So felt like it was one of those times that we needed the red ball for Oscar to kick onto the pitch and challenge it himself, because I feel like maybe a different result would have happened in that case, which is not what the VAR system is meant to be to begin with. So, Ryder, your thoughts on the match, the VAR call, and just overall, just underperformance in Chicago.
I had honestly forgotten about the VAR call and that penalty. In all reality, yeah, it looked like a penalty, but the fact that it wasn't called on the field and they reviewed it, I believe they reviewed it they didn't go to the monitor in stadium, but they reviewed it in Atlanta or Dallas or wherever that is this week. But the reality is they weren't going to overturn that. I knew at the moment I saw that they hadn't called it on the pitch. It was a penalty. It was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, but we couldn't rely on VAR and on pro to do the right thing, because they didn't have enough. And we think it's clear and obvious. They look at that and go, eh. So we can't rely on them. I was with Eddie when we were talking about this big stretch in May. I had circled this as the three of the 5 points I thought we were going to get this month, and dropping 2 points in just such a lackluster, underperforming performance. We just didn't look like we were performing as a team, and I don't know what else we need to do to change this up. And it'll come up again when we talk about the Red Bulls, because the team is just not congealing. There's no urgency in the passing. There's no urgency in getting into the box and actually taking shots. I mean, our only goal over the past week was just a garbage. Yeah, all goals count, but no one is ever going to call the goal that Facundo Torres scored sexy. It was a bad performance by the Chicago defense as much as it was a decent performance for Facundo to poke it in. But we have to be more aggressive. And I don't know what's going on with the defensive side, because I don't know if Janssen just had cobwebs coming back from injury or what, but we just don't look cohesive. And I think the window is closing on us having any kind of coherent, exciting performance this season.
Yeah, 2 goals in the last 5 matches.
That's depressing.
Wow, I didn't know that. And you want another depressing stat? We've been outshot 31-13 in the last 31-12 in the last 2 matches, and we have 3 shots on goal in the last 2 matches. I didn't want to go further back. I didn't want to cry on camera.
2 goals in the last 5 matches. They were Jacqueline's miracle winner in San Jose, and whatever it was Facundo Torres scored.
Wow! So one shank off a shank, right? where Lynn scored and then one Cobra Kai goal. What? So we Faku sweep the leg and it went in. Wow. Talk about cutting. Talk about your tactics.
Well, before I get to the topic I want to go to, let's talk about the 1-0 loss at the New York Red Bull. Like I said, great watch party. I wish there would have been a goal because it would have been fun to see Hourglass Brewery. I mean, they might have had to clean up a little more than what they did because there might have been some beer getting thrown around and people being excited, and outside and inside was standing room only, and the fans at our watch party specifically deserved at least one goal, even if it came in a tie. At least one goal would have been nice, but we couldn't even muster up really an opportunity. It felt like, I mean, Ramiro had one decent opportunity, like you said. Muriel had the one where he just took one extra dribble. I'm not sure why he didn't put it with his left foot. We just saw the last, he scored a banger in Philly, I think it was, and it was with his left foot from way outside the box. Like, we know you can finish with your left foot, my man. Just put it on target. Just put it on target is all I would love to see there.
It's just square to Faku, like 6 yards away, and it's a tap in, or Anguilla, whoever was there. That was ridiculous.
But it was just overall, it was a miserable performance. We dominated the possession. We played into what New York Red Bull love to do, which is, we tried to beat their press, and they press and press and press, and they don't mind giving the ball up. And it's been shown that teams that give the ball up in MLS have a more successful rate in winning games. But we dominated the ball, and it just didn't. I think the possession was like 64% for us, and nothing ever came out of it. 500 and something passes compared to New York Red Bull's like 350 or so, and just nothing in the final third, or really inside the box. Absolutely nothing when it comes to connection on balls. I was disappointed, and I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to say it. I know I said I wouldn't say it, but seeing 140, 150 people or so just show up and support the team in this time, and that's the best thing that we got. I know the boys are tired. I know, it's 3 games in 7 days and this and that, but when Kyle Smith came on who did he come on for?
Give me 1 second here. He came on for Nico Lodero.
When Kyle Smith came on for Nico Lodero, who's got the most assists we have all year, our best chance generator of the season. And we were down 1-0, and the whole brewery said a collective groan. It was a light switch in my head, boys. I'm Poppy out.
Oh,
it's got to be,
dude.
Yeah. I was just like, this has to be the moment in time where, like, if there's ever a time to switch, it's right now. Like, we're all here having a great time. Like, we're losing, and we're all still watching. Everybody's got their eyes glued on the TV, just hoping and praying for something. And then it clicked to me, like, that's all we've been doing all year, just hoping and praying. And this team was not supposed to be a hope and pray team. This team was supposed to be this team's going to get it done. No hope and no praying. Talent is going to get it done. And it hasn't been there. 16 matches in, 17 matches in, right? And we have 10 points less than what we did last year at this point. And it's not working right now. I think the team is too talented for what's been given. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but even the teams that we're playing, we haven't been playing their best player. You look at the Columbus match last week, they're missing Cucho, their best goal scorer, and they still take care of us, and they had the Champions League final this week. They were literally resting Cucho so he could play one extra match. They rested him, and we're not even getting everybody's A team. It feels like when we're playing these teams, other than Benteke playing against DC, who we beat, there's major dudes out every week. Shaqiri didn't play against Chicago, and Insigne didn't play against Toronto when we played against Toronto. We're not even losing to the best players. We're getting outplayed. And to finalize my monologue of why I think this is because it's easier to see if you know when there's something broken with your car engine, you don't take the whole car engine out and figure it out and break down every single piece of the car engine. No, you start with one thing that you think it may be, and see if that fixes the rest of the engine. And most of the times it does, and it happens a lot in soccer. So yeah, I'm officially on the Poppy Out crowd, and I'm going to be honest. For all the people who say you better be as loud when we turn it around, I got news for you. If we turn it around again, I'm going to take credit. I'm going to take credit because last year we sucked until I said Poppy Out, and then they turned it around. I'm known to be the opposite of a jinx. I like whatever I say, the opposite happens. You know, Kyle Smith sucks. He scores a goal. You know, those sort of things. So
it's true.
If we turn it around, I'm not. If we turn it around, I'm not gonna say I was wrong. I'm gonna say y'all better be thanking me because this is the bridge I needed to cross for this team to be turned around. So I want to hear from you guys. Alex, Ryder, I want to hear from you first. Obviously, there's not much to talk about against the Red Bull. It was a crappy performance. Sorry. But are you Oscar Pereira Poppy Out, Mr. Ryder?
Yeah, but I have caveats because
they're gonna update that chart somebody made. Remember with the podcast sliding chart of Poppy Out?
I didn't think we were in the right spot, but
it's not just Oscar. I agree that he's taken us as far as we can go, and I too will, if by some act of God we turn the season around, which considering how the rest of the season is looking and the amount of players we're going to be missing, which we'll get to a little later, but I just don't think that with the players we have and with what Oscar has done this season that we should continue to drive this car, to use the analogy Alex used or Eddie used earlier. We are so bad. Like, we thought we were bad to start the season last year, and when we started calling for Oscar to be sent away, and then they turned it around, those days feel so much more like we were actually doing something, because we have taken being bad to an art form. 2 goals in 5 matches, that's ridiculous, and we're relying on the likes of Jack Lynn to score half of those goals coming off the bench because we have injury problems and our DP striker can only play in Philadelphia, apparently. I don't think it's just Oscar. I think that we have to seriously look at making some player changes. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fully do that until the window. And there's only 10 matches after the window. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that at most we're going to sneak in with this current team, sneak in and get like an 8th or 9th seed and then get eliminated in the next round. Like, this team can't sustain this, especially with 6 of our starters being gone for international duty this summer. I'm just tired of it. I love, we were talking on Den After Dark about how it's hard to watch and there doesn't seem to be any real tactics anymore. We're just kind of throwing what we have out there and it's not working. Ojeda can't work with Facundo. Moriel can't work with really anybody because he can barely work with himself. I think we need to not only make changes at the top level, but I think that some of these players need to be either moved and we need to make some tough choices. And unfortunately, I think the only way we're going to get rid of Oscar and still rescue this season is if he goes this week, because otherwise it's either this week or after Leagues Cup. And I think after Leagues Cup is too little too late. We're not going to rescue the season in the last handful of matches of the season. So I've been Oscar out for a little bit and I kept it quiet. And like you said, we turned it around after we started saying Oscar out, but he shouldn't constantly need to sit on this hot seat. It's like Facundo Torres, who always starts the season out cold and gets hot throughout the season. We need a team, we need players, we need coaches that are firing on all cylinders all the time. And yeah, Oscar's been our longest tenured coach in our history. And yeah, he won us trophy and took us to the playoffs every year. But we should want more than that. And I'm sorry, this has been a disappointing season. It's been a really disappointing season. We thought we were going to have a chance at a deep playoff run. We were predicted by a couple of pundits to win the Supporter Shield. And now we're more likely to win the freaking wooden spoon than we are the Supporter Shield. So at some point, you just have to look at what you have and say, we need to move on. We need to do what's best for the club. So,
yeah, one of the things I hate most about sports is the, and you see it sets a lot of franchises up for failure, and it's not just in soccer; it's in every single league. Is the leeway due to past performances? You know, it's like it's the, oh well, he did this last season, when in reality last season we didn't do nothing, and 2 seasons ago he won the Open Cup. Well, in reality, the fact about the Open Cup run is, and I'm proud of the Open Cup. I got it up right here. You know, I got the goal to the final net right here. But we won every game at home. We were tied 0-0 with a USL team in the 70th minute at home with a sold-out crowd. You know, it was maybe the easiest route to a cup that you could ever possibly have. So, you know, there are caveats to everything, and the whole thing about past performances, I don't care what, at this point of the season, like when we're 5 or 10 games in, okay, last season we turned it around. When we're 17 matches into the season, I don't care about last season anymore. At this point, I'm looking at next season, because, you know, last season is a blur. It's gone, and it's gone in the wind. It's way in the rearview mirror. You know, we're not turning around for that. So I am strongly, unfortunately, I love what he's done for us, but in my opinion, we see that the players can bring talent. We see that the players can bring results. This team isn't much different than last year. We know what can be done, and it doesn't even look remotely similar to what was done last year. So, Eddie, I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like Switzerland, but like part of the UN. So like we know what side you're on, but you're still Switzerland. So
I got you. Is it kind of like that? I'm like Switzerland or some, I forgot. Maybe was it them? They were just selling arms to both sides and just making money. You know, this kind of thing.
It's like you know, we know where if
the U.S. before
World
they
War
got involved
started and Switzerland had to get in, we know what side they'd be on. So I feel like that's where. But every other time, you know, they're Switzerland. But let's hear your thoughts on the whole Oscar.
The reason situation. I have been ambivalent or not caring whether or not we keep Oscar for years now. Honestly, I felt like I never felt necessarily he's going to get us to a title. I thought the style wasn't conducive to how MLS teams win. It's usually more attacking. Usually, you know, you have personnel who could take over a game. I don't feel like we have that, and we don't have people with the freedom to do that. So I always thought he was a good cup coach. He's going to be good in the playoffs. That's fine. I think Daniel, the English Lion, had kind of he had written this in his article. There was like Claudio Ranieri before at Chelsea, got Chelsea into the Champions League, the top 4, and then Jose Mourinho took him over the edge, right? I think Oscar is a little bit like Claudio Ranieri. He got us respectable, made us respected in the league, made us perennial playoff team. Also, this fan base just has low expectations. The mantra is always, do you remember where you were before? Do you remember what he's done for us? So this fan base, as long as you're in the playoffs, 7th, 6th, 5th place, this is like, discovering gold to the fan base, because we didn't have that. And I thought after a while they'd want more, bigger expectations. But as you see the team sucking this year, people are fine with just making the playoffs again. 7th place, 6th place, 5th place. They're fine with getting in the playoffs and one and done, which, if you're honest, besides last year, that we had, I think, 2 years, Oscar, we won a playoff game. But other than that, we're one and done a lot. Montreal, one and done. We haven't really made an impact. Last year, we could have, perhaps, and we had the crew close. And but who knows what would have happened after that. At the end, that game was a peak Poppy game where we only got close because we threw the kitchen sink at the end after pretty much getting dominated and not creating any real good chances early on. So I've been fine with whether or not we move on, not because whether or not he deserved it, just because I don't think he's gonna take us over the edge. And that's the case now. If he goes, I'm fine with it. It's gonna be sad because it came down to this. We talked about it last year. We would want no one more than to take us to get the star on our badge, lift that trophy than Oscar Pareja, because he's a good dude. He's done a lot of great things for us. He's a legend for us. But the reality is, I don't know if it's going to happen. I never really thought that it would. So when you keep losing like this, we have 7 losses. It's the equivalent of last year. And just to read some stats here, we're 27th in goals scored per match. OC Fan TV tweeted this: 16th in goals conceded, 28th in shots on target, 21st in XG created, 17 points in 16 matches. That's just, so there's 34 matches, right? If you extrapolate that, we're gonna finish with like 38 points or something like that, right? That's horrendous. That is awful. So you at some point, someone needs to be accountable. It's not always fair, but it usually ends up being the coach. Now, like, I'm not being contrary here or picking both sides, but I've said it on Dead After Dark, and I've said it here. I don't get into this Papi out thing because I just don't expend energy on something I don't think is going to happen. The Wolves are just, I don't think they're winners. I don't think they're winners. I'm sorry. And it's just a football thing. I don't know. They got, nothing says lack of ambition than Kirk Cousins, and then replacing him with a worse Kirk Cousins, JJ McCarthy. Yes, they played Justin Jefferson just the other day. You know I'm right. That's the Kyle Smith for quarterbacks. It's just fine, reliable, but he's not going to be a superstar,
Only if Kyle Smith does meditation before every game.
Right. Yeah, JJ McCarthy makes Alex Smith look like, Josh Allen. It's just, it's not. I don't buy that guy personally. But they pay Justin Jefferson. Sure. It's smart. You pay him now while you got your quarterback on a rookie contract, front load it. But there's a salary cap. There's guaranteed revenue. Spending there is not a risk in the NFL. It's not a risk to spend in the NFL. Okay, so I don't want to point to some guy that they paid him the most guaranteed money for a wide receiver. It doesn't matter. It's a salary cap. There's no risk. Yes, there's a salary cap here, but transfer fees come out of people's pocket, right? So I don't, they're not from here. The ideal scenarios to me has always been the LAFC owner, a guy who's local, the main owner. Of course, they have a bunch. The guy who's local who doesn't care if he makes money or not. That's why they're good every year, and that's why they've won things. And that's ideal. That's not what we have. Doesn't mean they don't want to win. I just don't think they're going to say, you know what, screw it. Let's spend on that transfer fee and a salary, and let's get that person. Because I've said it before, we either get big salaries like Muriel for free. This has been an Orlando tradition. Kaká, Nani, big salaries for free, or transfer fees on low salaries. Facundo got basically double paid, and he's still under $2 million. But before when Kada left, we had no one at $1 million. We had the second lowest payroll. Now we're in the middle of the pack because of Muriel almost single-handedly in Facu's raise and Jansen's raise. But you don't see the big transfer, which is what takes profit out, and big salary. So until I see something like that, I'm not buying it in. I'm not buying in. Now, yes, teams who spend a lot don't win. Look at Toronto, etc. But at some point, someone's gotta be held accountable. And the product on the pitch is bad. We haven't been a fun team to watch under him very much. Everyone points at MLS is back, and then that run last year. But for the majority of the time, if we're honest, I named it suffer ball for a reason, because we suffer and we grind out results 1-1, 1-0, 1 whatever. So would I be sad and personal way that it came down to this, that Orlando City sucks so much that they fired him? Yes, but would I be upset if they let him go? No. And I don't buy the idea that the fans had to come up with a list of a pocket, binder full of candidates. That's not our job. But people asked me that last year, and I said, well, for Nancy before he went to Columbus. And you know who's available right now? Ronnie Delia, who won they mentioned availability for Atlanta. Ronnie Delia won the Supporter Shield with NYCFC. What did he do? He created a system that fit with the players that he had, which is ideal for someone coming in middle of the season, and I deal with what we have, because we have square pegs, round holes. It's just not working. And honestly, look, okay, 7, it's early, it's 16 games, there's 34. Okay, well then let's look at our schedule. Our schedule is next at home, June 15th, LAFC. Okay, they're traveling across the country, so that's a slight advantage, but we haven't been good at home. We have 4 wins in the season. How many have been at home? Just a few. We're not good at home, and LAFC's coming off a rest too. So I'm gonna have to say that's probably a loss. Yeah. LAFC is really good. Then after that, Charlotte's having a pretty good season. They got a coach who was formerly in the championship and the EPL, Dean Smith, and he's putting a stamp on the team. And somehow, miraculously, they're performing better the first year. I was told it takes 3 years, right? So and that's away at Charlotte on 4 days later. So Saturday to Wednesday, short rest. That's going to be tough to get more than a point. So that's 1 point. That puts us at 17 out of 19 games. Or no, 19 points out of 18 games. Then we got Chicago Fire at home on another Wednesday to Saturday. So it's just 3 days rest, really. So hopefully we beat them, but we're not good at home. And they outplayed us at their home. So let's say, optimistically, that's 3. That's 4. So what does that put us at? 21 from 18 or something? Then we go to New York a week later, almost, to the Bronx. They're playing great. I think they won 5 straight or something, haven't lost in 5. And it's hard to win in the Bronx. That's probably a loss, right? Then we got to go to Toronto on a short rest from Friday to Wednesday. That's going to be tough. And then DC United, but at home, Benteke is our daddy. At DC, someone's always dominating us. Benteke gives us trouble. That's a tough one. Then we got a respite. We got the Revs away, which we should win because they trash, but it's still away. The Fire trash, and we didn't win. Then we got Nashville away. Then New York comes to our house. Then Montreal in the Leagues Cup. There's not a ton of points to be had there, right? So if he doesn't pull it off by then, the Leagues Cup starts. I would assume they give him a couple of games in the Leagues Cup, but I don't think we're gonna do great in the Leagues Cup. Maybe we beat Montreal, but once you start playing, real teams, Mexican teams and stuff like that, we got an easier one with Atlético San Luis. But I just don't think we're going to make a Leagues Cup run. So I think that's probably when they let him go at that point. Now, will it be too late? Yes, it will be. The season, the people have mentioned this too. I think David mentioned in his, if you're not in the playoffs by June 1st, you just generally don't make the playoffs based on the stats. And we're not in the playoffs right now. We're 11th. We're closer to the wooden spoon than anything else. So it's going to take a lot, and it's going to take a lot of beating teams we really shouldn't, a lot of road wins, a lot of stuff that it's just hard to expect that. So this season, it's hard to say, but the season's almost cooked already. So if that's the case, then how can you keep the coach? And someone's got to go. And if I'm going to just do one more, you're saying I'm Switzerland here. How's this for bold, Alex? This is my move if I were the GM. Okay, we have 2 buyouts. I would buy out Pedro Gallese, who again, a lot of soft goal. Now, it shouldn't have been a foul on the Red Bulls, and My Little Pony Tolkien banged it on for like 35 yards or 30 yards. It was just Pedro's leaning the wrong way, soft hands, another bad goal he gave away. And I would buy him out. He's at $1 million, and I didn't want to pay him that much, not because he didn't deserve it per se, but he was declining last year. Kind of had a good run there for a bit, but he was declining, and just a bad allocation of cap space to spend $1 million on a goalkeeper, and it's an international spot too. I would also buy Muriel out because I defend him, and I think he's better than what a lot of people give him credit for. Barring at Chicago, that was absolutely ridiculous what he did there. I think you can see that he's our most talented player, but is it working? No. Is he worth the money? Absolutely not. So I would buy him out too. So that leaves 2, and I would transfer out Ojeda because Bobby doesn't know how to use him. Last year we talked about his production per minute. There's no production this year. 0-0. There's nothing there. There's nothing. He's just in and just like the toilet just flushing away here, just in this black hole where it's just we're not getting anything. When he does play, it's sporadic. He doesn't look good. He didn't look good when he started the other day, and he's the first one subbed out. And then the next move I would do is try to do everything I can to keep Duncan, make him a DP or a high TAM, and then that's what I would do. So, yeah, it's a bit of a blow up of the squad, but yeah, I think that's where we're at. I would just recap, buy out Gallese and Muriel. That gives up a DP spot, 2 international spots. Try to keep Duncan and trade Ojeda, and that gives another international and DP spot, and then try to work from there. That's what I would do.
I agree with you wholeheartedly that it's not just about the coach, but that we need to make changes with player personnel, because this squad just isn't working well together. And if the coach can't figure that out, we've got to make changes and do what's best, because at this point, we're not just looking at this season. Yeah, this season is basically a lost cause. Yeah, maybe we sneak into the wild card or whatever, but we shouldn't be aspiring to that. We should be aspiring to what we thought this season was going to be, and that's winning the East, maybe getting a supporter shield and making a deep run. And there's no evidence of that. So it's just about it's not that we have anything against Oscar. We just need to do what's best for the club. And at this point, that's making changes so that we can get a new coach in, do some transfers both out and in. I think
give them flexibility for their people, right? For them to get their guy. And look, at some point, someone needs to be held accountable. It's easier to get rid of a coach than it is to get rid of players, right? And especially in this league. So that's the case. And look, at some point, yeah, people make a big deal about it. If you say Papiat, or you do or you don't or whatever. I didn't even say that. That you can't change your mind. No. Oh, when the result gets good, people change their mind or change their energy. What? That just means you support the club. It means it's not
willing
personal.
To say
that means
we're
it's unbiased.
Too.
Yeah, that you're saying I'm wrong, and your own quote unquote being right, or your own ideas. You're willing to say, great, we're winning, because winning and what's good for the club is above you being right or a personal vendetta. I think honestly, it's inverse. The personal vendetta is on the people who are defending this club, who associate not wanting accountability for a coach or for anyone as true support. If anything, they're sacrificing the team, the badge, what this club means to people, over the feelings of an individual, of a coach. They're defending the coach above the team. If the team is better off with someone else, then so be it. Coaches come and go, players come and go. Who cares? It's about Orlando City. It's about that badge, and it doesn't matter who's at the helm, as long as we win and they represent us right. But we need to. Sports is about trying to win and have good moments and have a good journey and be competitive and have something entertaining and shows effort. We don't have that right now. You can't say that. If you are okay with what is going on now, then you're the person who has a personal agenda, because you're defending a person essentially, and you're equivocating, supporting an individual, and you're trying to defend yourself for being right when instead of adjusting to the realities. And that's what the people who were Papiat and then they turned it, they were adjusting to the realities. They're saying, you know what, he deserved it. It's actually humble. It's actually showing humility. Now saying he's going to turn it around and he doesn't, then saying, oh well, I'm here for the vibes. Then that's pride on your side for not saying, dang, someone needs to be held accountable. And in sports, it doesn't mean it's fair. When teams aren't winning, it's the coach that goes. That's just how it works.
To quote Kurt Russell from Miracle, the name on the front of the jersey is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. And that's
right.
That's what you got to be about.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I opened the can of worms, but I felt like it was time.
No, that's okay. Was that too Switzerland for you, Alex?
No, I think it was it's Saeed, I think, on Twitter, who posted a hilarious meme today of the the political podcast, and I think we deserve to be a little bit more left than
Right.
poppy out
Yeah.
ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it works. All right, quickly, we're going to talk about international duty. We're just going to go
Skip
over
stock up, stock down this week.
Stock up, stock down. Oh yeah, let's do it.
Anybody have a stock up? Anybody?
I don't have
Facundo
any.
for scoring from the run of play.
Mm-hmm.
Stock
I
down is
guess.
Pedro. That's easy.
Yeah, stock down Pedro.
I stock down to Oscar because I finally
I was gonna say
joined the club today. So
gotcha.
or this
Stock down
week.
Oscar and Pedro. Muriel, the dribbling into nonsense, and it was an easy tap in. And then stock up is not. There's no stock up. No, I don't know. Brecalo's getting more minutes. He's getting used to it. I guess he did fine. I don't really know. No stock up.
Mason forgetting to start with Pedro on international duty.
Oh yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
So, speaking of the international duty, I think we discussed the stock ups and what the absence of it with our game recaps. But we have we got eight people away on international duty right now, or something like that. I think
6 from the first team, 2 from either OCB or the second team. So
yeah, we'll be missing a couple from now. I think Wilder and Pedro are going to be a maybe on the 15th against LAFC. Their last game is on the 14th at 8:30 p.m. for Peru right now. So we may miss them. Bracalo's in Slovenia, Facu and Cesar with Uruguay right now.
are they going to stay with them up until the start of Copa America, though? Copa America starts a week later on the 20th. So
I don't know. I hope not.
Neither one of them are regulars. Facu or Cesar.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I saw somebody, I think it was Patty, tweeted, if you really think it's all the players, the international managers must not be seeing it because we got 7 or 8 dudes gone. So Duncan's going to the Olympics. So all those games that you just mentioned, Eddie, this is what we're going to be dealing with while you
right.
when
I was saying it. When I was saying it, I was thinking of starters. But what's our lineup going to look like? It's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of Rodrigo, maybe Wilder center. It's gonna be back 3 or something. It's gonna. I mean, the back 5 will be intact. I guess. Right. Oh, it's a Brecalo. No, just put Jansen in. Wilder.
Brecalo's gone.
Brecalo will be gone for the
Pedro's
possibly
gone.
the
Wilder
most.
will be gone.
Oh, Wilder too. Wilder's gone. Dang, it's gonna get skinny. All these guys who want the Kocheski and
Cesar
whatever.
will be gone.
Cesar will be gone for part of it.
Duncan will be gone. 6 out of 11 starters.
Not that it would matter, but Angulo won't be gone, so he's gonna play. Not that he wouldn't anyways. But I forgot to tell you guys one thing. Hilarious match report from Who Scored. Orlando City. They talk about strengths and weaknesses. Orlando City's weakness or poor at finishing. Styles attack down the left side, dominate possession, favorite through balls. All facts. Orlando City's strength, no significant strength. So true.
So just to break it down a little bit, Copa America is from June 20th to July 14th. There's 5 Orlando City matches in that time, and that can see departures for Pedro, Wilder, Cesar, and Facundo.
Those 5 matches are real quick, Alex. The 5 matches are the Fire, the Fire at home, away at NYCFC, Toronto away, DC at home. And when does that end? July 5th, you said? July 14th.
Those 4.
The Revs. Yeah, go ahead.
This is assuming that these teams go deep. If they don't go deep, then it's more likely we get them back sooner. This is the maximum they can miss.
Okay, gotcha. That's important. Thanks.
The worst one's going to be the time when we're going to be missing 5 of those players due to the Euros, with Bacalo also being gone for the Euros, and that can be up to 7 games, with the Euros starting June 14th and ending July 14th. And we have 7 matches in that time. It's not like Slovenia is going to go deep in the Euro, so we might get him back by the beginning of July, but we'll see. And then Duncan is going to be gone for part of that because there are 2 warm-up matches for the U.S. Olympic team that he's been called up for, and he will likely be playing in. So I don't know if he'll be back in time before the Olympics, but I don't have that schedule in front of me. But it's going to be rough, and we got to get used to the fact that Moriel is going to be playing up there by himself for a while.
Exactly in season. Yeah.
I don't know why. Now that you're mentioning it, I mean, Peru plays their last game on the 14th, and then they play on the 21st, starting the Copa America. So we may not get Wilder or Pedro back for.
I don't think we will.
That's 3 games right there. The 13th is Rebs, 17th Nashville, the 20th NYC. So that's 3 games.
We'll miss Wilder more than we will Pedro. That's for sure.
That's sad but true. Wow. 1 meal to chill.
I don't know. I'm more upset now. So thanks for making me realize that.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. We came from a high though, the brewery 100 and whatever
it's
people.
It's just
we're like,
this season's done. Season's over.
Summertime.
Unless Ojeda decides to come off and do something.
I just think Ojeda
decides to start playing.
Ojeda and Facundo need to go to couples counseling or something. Just put them in a boat, have them go fishing for a weekend, and see if they can bond. Because I think
it's Ojeda and Oscar.
Well, maybe all 3 of them.
Yeah, Ojeda obviously has daddy issues. Sometimes that affects your relationships. So he's, or should I say, Ojeda's got poppy issues.
All right. Well, saying all that, saying all that, let's talk about the LAFC preview. I don't even want to, because now there's no Wilder, no Pedro. Hopefully we'll have Bracalo back for that one game. I don't even know if that's going to be a thing. You guys got predictions, Ryder?
Yeah, this is an L, and I don't think we'll have Bracalo back either. I think this is a certified L for 2 reasons. One, LAFC is a far superior team to us this year and almost every year. And 2, coming off of 2 weeks rest, we never look good. We always look rusty. We always look like we haven't been playing and we haven't been practicing. And I think that we're going to come out and there's going to be cobwebs for days. And I think that LA is going to take advantage of that and go up at least 2 goals on us in the first half. And we're just going to be chasing the game the entire time. So I think it's going to be a 3-1 loss.
Oof. Ouch.
I am once again going to say we're not going to score. So LAFC goals, Orlando City 0 goals. That's my prediction. There's no Duncan, so why would I think we're going to score?
Right. If you count the Open Cup, 2 Open Cup matches, LAFC have won 7 in a row. They've won 5 in a row in the league, and they haven't given up a goal. And the 5 games, they have allowed 0 goals. Yeah, they skunked Vancouver, St. Louis, Atlanta, Minnesota, and FC Dallas. So the last 5 regular season games, they have 3, 5, 8 goals, 8-0. They have in the last 5 where we scored 2 goals. So they're not nearly as good on the road. At home, they're invincible. I mean, at home, I don't think they haven't lost at home. But on the road they're 2-4-1. So I mean, it's our small hope. It's just small hope. It's not enough. So 2-0 LAFC. It's gonna be a bit of a snoozer on that one, and it's gonna be a little frustrating, tense environment. I think as you smell that you smell a little cooking. Colombians are their best dishes, the bandeja paisa, which includes some like right at that little bit of pork fat and pork skin, little chicharron. You're gonna smell a little bit of some bandeja paisa cooking on that bench with Oscar's chicharron getting toasted up over there. So yeah.
Yeah, and listen, we want to win. I want to win.
Of course,
I
I would
want
be
to
a signature
see
win to beat
turn around.
LAFC.
Yes.
But
If we beat LAFC, we're all gonna be like, we're turning it around, you know.
what in the last 5 games has shown us that we can do it? Nothing really.
30 minutes
I-
against the Crew.
I still don't think that you say winning against LAFC is a complete turnaround. It's not. Winning more than one game in a row is what is going to get me to say we're turning this around, and I don't think that's happening.
Right. No, I know, but we get delusional. We get a little caught in the moment. I'd be like, all right, this is the moment, because I want to believe. I want to be positive. This isn't fun. Yeah, like Brad, right? You've been with us for a while, but Brown, you remember that 2018. You're still the second newest. You remember what that was to be like, all right, 4-0. The 6 DM lineup from James O'Connor or whatever. It's like, yeah, like and this isn't fun, but we 7 losses already. We're 7-5. Excuse me, and that's not good. There's no way to spin it.
Yeah, I mean, if Cesar makes the Copa America team, it's gonna be rough cooking.
Yeah. Felipe
builder, even for a couple of games, it's gonna be tough.
Felipe
all right,
Nico
shout outs. Anybody have
combined
a
70. Yeah, shout out to Hourglass Brewery for shout out to Hourglass Brewery for having us, having the beer for the whole event, and special shout out. Sorry, I'm doing 2 to Mike Spillane. He's out there in Colorado amongst the rocks and the clouds right now. Cleon's actually working in Bermuda right now, so little shout out to him, Cleon. Hey, have some of that chocolate cake. Have some of that chocolate cake on me, buddy. I owe you one. And shout out to Mike's, and shout out to Juan at the Hourglass Brewery. He's the one that kind of got this rolling, him and Mike, and it was a great event. This would not have happened without Mike making this happen, Mike and Juan. So congrats. Juan kind of setting it going, and Mike doing the heavy lifting. Mike gotta feel like, like when Nani was here, whatever, just carrying the team on his back. It's just right now he's been carrying us, doing a lot of good stuff for us all year. So Mike, we're proud to announce we've signed Mike to an extension, a DP contract. So appreciate you, Mike, very much.
The most productive one in Orlando City history.
For real. Yeah. As I got older, I said, let me bring in a young guy. And, a little shout out to myself, a little GM. The 2 of you guys here, I added you guys to the pod, and Mike as well. So I'm a little proud. A little shout out to myself as the Orlando Lions Den GM here, adding some vital pieces.
Yeah, I'll shout out all the listeners that showed up that aren't even on, maybe even on the socials, and they just listened to the pod and they showed up and came out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the beer. I hope you guys enjoyed the company. I'm sorry we didn't get to enjoy the result, but I enjoyed seeing everybody out there and talking to people and drinking good beer. And I enjoyed seeing Cappy sell out and Adam being so happy, and the bartenders being super happy about it. And it was more than I'll ever imagine. Like I said, Eddie, I will go down for me as the best loss in Orlando City history for me. Specifically, I'll never forget Saturday night. So we appreciate all you guys for supporting us and coming out, and it really was a humbling and super awesome experience. I mean, I don't know, I couldn't count on 2 hands how many times we looked at each other and we're like, I can't believe this right now.
Right.
So
it was like every other conversation we had for the first half. It's not like we had anything else to talk about during the match.
Right. And look, people were, there was no seating areas. There was nowhere to sit. People were outside. They opened up the doors outside so people could watch the TVs inside. And the outside was completely packed, and there were people standing around. It was insane, and people got the no mango no party, got the no Higuita no party reference. I was like, nice to meet you. What's your name or whatever? How'd you hear about us? And they're like, oh, I've been listening for years. I'm like, And we're like, yeah, I was like, we couldn't think of the name or a little bit. This is what we came up with. They're like, oh, I totally get the reference. You know, I love Gita. It was crazy. They're like, I've been listening to you guys for years or whatever. It's good to meet you. I was like, what? It's wild anyone listens to us, but that was just super humbling. So yeah, shout out to them again. Sorry, I'm done, Alex. I'm good.
Got anything to add, Ryder?
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, considering you guys basically said everything I was going to say, shout out to this community because, like you guys said, they came out, they showed up, and we supported a local business, and we did something. I thought it was pretty special because we all came together as a team. Don't get me wrong. Shout out to Mike for making it happen and doing so much of the planning and so much of the emceeing and making sure that everybody walked away not only with gear but with a memory. And that's what this is about. We may get on here and rant and rave about certain things, but at the end of the day, this is what we do for fun. And I'll just echo what I said when this subject was brought up on Den After Dark. This is a community and we do this for fun. And we want this to be a community that everyone can come into and say how they feel and say what they think about the team. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about soccer. We're talking about a game that yes, these are grown men playing it professionally, but this is a kid's game and we're doing it for fun. We're doing it for entertainment. And this is our group of guys and gals that we just get together and we socialize about it. And it's weird for me because I normally do that online. I don't have that many local friends anymore. A lot of people have moved away, and my weekly socializing is with you guys on Twitter, on Reddit, on all these social medias, and then talking to you guys on the pod. And it was so special even for me to do that in person. And it was so cool to see people not only appreciate the pod and support Orlando City, but to do it in a way that celebrated just the community we have. So shout out to the fans, shout out to this community, and just remember, it may be a game, but it's the beautiful game. And it's beautiful to see people coming together from all walks of life to support Orlando City. It's just fun for me. So shout out to that and shout out to you guys because I love doing this pod with you. And it was so great to see all five of you in person and get that photo. I might have it framed and put it up here where I don't have enough space for another poster.
Yeah, I agree. We do it for fun. And the funniest
Mm.
part was my buddy who I brought. He was like, yeah, I keep telling everybody to get to No Mango party because like you get a cut from it, right? And I'm like, nah, we don't. We're just here for fun. Like we're just grateful to be here and grateful to even think a brewery would want to brew a beer with us. You know, we're just like over the moon about that.
We made no money. We spent money.
Right. Yeah. We gave away stuff. We spent money. Yeah. And also too, the club didn't give us anything. Like someone asked me that. They're like, "Oh, did they provide?" I'm like, "No, they didn't provide. They've never given us anything at all, ever once. The only thing we've ever got, the only thing we've ever gotten was just being graced with Kay's presence. Our own doing. But it's that we've never gotten a scarf or a thing, a sticker from the club because of what all the content we've done over these years. We never got a single thing, and we did that ourselves and didn't do anything to do with the club on that. So, but look, it's this digital age is very easy to be isolated. To this club sucking so much, and for that many people to show up and bond over the club, it just shows how great this fan base is. But overall, and it's good to have those moments. It gives you that high where you're just like, man, this is cool. I could just be myself. I love Orlando City. Everybody here is a sicko like me. Like we're sitting here watching us get skunked and against the Red Bulls. So I before we go, I just wanted to use that. It's fitting that quote from Higgins from Ted Lasso to the family we're born with, to the family we make along the way, and most importantly, to Orlando City.
Amen. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We thank you guys for joining us on the pod every week. And at the watch party, and we'll look to plan another one sometime this season. We're hoping, and we just cannot overstate the gratitude and happiness and joy and gratefulness that we have for everybody for coming out and supporting us. So thank you guys all very much for doing that, and we're hoping the team turns it around. We're praying the team can do something and get some results, and we'll see how the international duty treats us. And we'll see you guys against LAFC and the Den After Dark on June 15th. I'll be at the match, and can't wait to see. I think Eddie, you might be sitting with me, right?
No, that event I didn't think was that day is that day, so I won't be going.
Oh, now you're back. Eddie's flip flopping. So.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, as always, y'all, it's always Vamos Orlando. Thank you guys for coming out and listening. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all June 15th. We're taking next week off week, bye week. We're going to recoup. So we appreciate y'all. Talk to you on June 15th. Vamos Orlando.
Vamos.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Orlando Lions Den on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next week in the Den.